Oh, wait, the lads, everyone.
Hey there.
Welcome to the first ever, and the only American show, only one that matters, to say the least. There's a few copycats out there, but we got the first ever American show, not on this channel, of course. As I said, we started a long time ago, but welcome everyone. We got an interesting topic today to debate. We started a little bit a few days ago, and we said, well, we need to bring this up because obviously we had to do the match preview, had to do the other stuff. And so we're going to dedicate a whole show, essentially dedicated to this. Um, and it's going to be the topic of the day is NBC. As you know, it is the provider for the Premier League, television, essentially television provider here in America. And I think they own Peacock too. That's why they
Yes.
do it. Yeah. So NBC is the boss. Is essentially the Sky Sports in the UK. Well, what they're trying to do is trying to bring actual and real matches, Premier League matches, to America. At least this NBC sports executive wants to do that. Is that going to happen? We don't know. However, this whole week we've seen YouTube channels. We've seen a lot of people react to this, including obviously the Geordies that are from Newcastle. That some of them are outraged that how could this even be thought of. Then you got a washed up American mag like the Mighty Win who believes this is amazing. And to be honest, it really has its positives, its pros. However, negatives as well. So we're gonna discuss all that, and we want to hear your opinion. We want to read your opinion. We're gonna highlight the comments that come through that are interesting of this topic, and we're gonna show them, read them out loud, and so let us know your opinion. There's one thing that you need to keep in mind. You got to try to keep an objective mind when it comes to this. Of course, Newcastle, there's nothing objective about it. We all love Newcastle, so it's hard to be objective with something you love, and especially that you want to see every week. However, just think, how could this help the club grow worldwide? Could it? I'm not saying that it could. I'm asking, could it help? Could it actually be of some help? Why not just keep it at preseason games, let the fan base grow there, and continue to do that until you can't reach any more people or grow any more any more fans with the preseason. But I don't think that we've had enough preseasons yet in America to say, well, that's not working. That's not working fast enough. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just not working fast enough for these people. Is it just about money? Is it all these executives, the NBC executive, everybody out there in Sky Sports in the UK, the Premier League? Is it all about money? They don't think about the fans. Well, if you look at it from the perspective of North Americans, if you bring it to us, well, I would believe some of us would think they are thinking about fans because we are fans nonetheless, even though we're not from the UK. I would be lying to you if I said that I would be upset, because I would try to make, imagine, I think most American fans would try to go to these games to go watch Newcastle United play for the Premier League. However, there is a thought there for the UK folks that what about the season ticket holders? What do you do there? Do you add a game at the end of the season? How many games? Just one, five? How do you do it? Is it just in America or is it across the world? Do you add the opening game? Well, opening game wouldn't be that bad, would it? But then again, you'll have some fans that say, no, the opening game needs to be at St. James's Park, where it belongs. We're going to discuss all that. Let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, become a member if you can. Hit the join button or use the link that's in the description. Also, visit our website, nufctalk.tv, where you can stay informed of everything that's going on in the Newcastle United atmosphere. And remember, I had a video earlier today, news report of why we might have to sell a few players this summer. So check it out. It's obviously in the video tab. And after the show, go and watch it. Smash the like, of course. Let's get started, folks. We got the Mighty Win. We got Josh from Philadelphia. We also got Ian from Baltimore back on the American Mag Show. We're going to get to the comments in a minute. And any questions, put a Q in front of it, and we're going to get to it. Let me start with the Mighty Win. A good old Geordie from, by the way, we got the dog out. We got the dog out. Show him the dog, baby. Show him the dog.
We got the dog.
We got the dog out. Let Dog is out.
I got water.
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, Ian's got
Pellegrino.
Ian's got bigger fish to fry. So of course, yeah. All right.
He's got plans tonight.
That's right. Okay, so again, mighty win, a good old Geordie. No way. Hell must be freezing over. If you ever we're gonna hear a Geordie of like the mighty win say that this is a good idea. No way he's gonna say that. Well, mighty win, this is your time to respond. What do you think about possibly right now? This article is saying opening game for in the U.S. Premier League opening game, which to me that's better than the last game, and I'll explain why. But let me know what you think about this whole situation.
Well, my point is that every Premiership team now is going abroad anyway, pre-season, for the money that's there, etc., etc. Let's really get some money. Have game 39, which will actually be game 1. And we'll have 10 games, 1 full round of Premier League fixtures, played in 5 separate venues around the world. 1 on the Friday, 1 on the Saturday, or 1 on the Saturday, 1 on the Sunday. Same venue. And the cities who want to host those games would have to bid for them in exactly the same way that they bid for the Olympics. So you would have maybe 1 in Seoul, South Korea, 1 in Tokyo, 1 in Sydney, 1 in New York, or 2 actually. And you would play the first round of games in those cities. But what you would do before the bids go in is you would see what the fixture, you would have a massive day. It would be a huge day when they have the draw, like the FA Cup. They would have an FA Cup draw to decide, completely random draw, who is playing who. And there'll be a couple of tasty fixtures there. And then the cities would bid a bit like that you have on draft day in America. You would see the live bids coming in from the various cities as to who wants to host those particular games. It'd be a huge, huge money earner, and it would spread the word of the Premiership around the world much more quickly than it's spreading at the moment. Nobody's losing anything. Everybody, all the season ticket holders are still getting their 19 games, home and away or whatever. So nobody's losing anything. It's just 1 additional game. And with it being at the start of the season, it's not as though anybody could say that that was going to define that season. Come the end of the season, it could well be that somebody who's had to play Liverpool, for example, in the first round and gets beat would say that was the game that put them down. But they've had 38 games to correct that 1 game. And in that respect, it is luck of the draw. But that's only 3 points out of a possible 114 points. So nobody can blame that 1 game for what's happened to them, why they've won the title, why they haven't won the title, why they've got Europe, why they haven't. They've got the whole season to put it right. But it makes it meaningful and it makes it worth really watching for all the folks everywhere in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me go to Josh. Josh, what do you think about this whole idea? Brought up by NBC, of course. But wouldn't that
Well, no, it was brought up a long time before NBC were on the scene. It was originally in 2003.
Well, I don't know about that. We don't have proof of that, man. You got to find that newspaper because I know you ain't got the online article for it.
I've sent it to you.
Yeah, you just sent it.
Okay. Well, I'll look for it. But
anyways, my opinion, the first thing you said in your opening statement, I think is key. To be honest, this is all about money. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying you have good point. Like, yes, there are American fans, there's Saudi fans, there's, fans all over the world. I like what Wynn's saying. I don't think it should be just an American thing per se. It should be at different venues globally because the sport, the EPL is huge globally. But the biggest thing that I just find funny, I'm looking at some of the comments, like, first of all, the NFL does a competitive game in there, it overseas. And I'm not saying that means go and do it. But again, it gets done, and it's all about money in that instance. And no one really complains about it that much. I would argue, only because I know, as we call it, opening day kind of in the States, like that could also be a big thing to some teams. I could see it being like, put it, kind of mid-season. Again, a lot of teams go on warm weather training anyways. So you could put it in some kind of warm locale in January, or something like that. Again, it's in the middle of the season. It's not really, no one can sit here and complain that it's defining the season. It's not the end of the, or defining the table, last game or something like that. But I think at the end of the day, I'm not like, I want it, but obviously I'm not going to complain if it happens. I mean, if I can more easily see a game of the team I like, that's great. But at the same time, let's not kid ourselves. It's about money, and that's probably the thing. But I do like some of the points you said when, I didn't even think of that. You could make it into a new occasion, put it like a cup draw type thing. It's totally arbitrary who you're going to get. It's random city. I could see you could add those little things to make it a little interesting. Maybe you get an extra derby game with some of those big rivalries or something like that. Obviously, I think you could add some little tweaks to make it compelling. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I sometimes try to avoid conflict. I think I get it from my mom. And if it's going to piss off a bunch of the British fans, I mean, I already feel like they get mad at us enough. So don't bring it here to give them more to be mad and get.
Okay, well, Ian, what is your perspective on this whole situation, mate?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so if it's NBC putting it forward, they're going to want it in America. They're not going to want it in Seoul. They're not going to want it in Melbourne. They're not going to want it in Dubai. They're going to want it in America, right? No ands, ifs, or buts about it. If NBC want it because of the money rights, they're going to want it here in the United States, okay? Would it work? I don't know. The NFL goes and plays in London, and they play in Germany, but it's only one game per season. I could see you doing it maybe one game where each year a different team is picked to play in a certain locale.
Yeah, but you say that doesn't work because then team.
But neither does having every team come over. Because
it does, because it means they're all playing on a neutral venue.
No, it don't, because they don't have the fan base, right? That's what it's about. It's about getting the fan base, right? So you're not going to be able to have, what we got, 38, how many, 19 teams come over, 20 teams come over.
20 teams.
Right? 20 teams come over and have the fan base for each team to play in a location. Because
what I'm advocating is there would only be 4 teams come to America.
So you're only saying 4 teams?
Four teams to America, 4 teams to 5 different venues.
Yeah, right, but NBC aren't going to want that. NBC are going to want them all in the United States.
I think they would be bidding for the American ones.
No, but nobody else would. We wouldn't go any NBC. Now, if it was the Premier League that was saying this or the FA, I could understand that. But it's not. It's coming from NBC, right?
No. So, originally, it came from the Premier League.
Yeah, but that was freaking 20 years ago. We're talking now, and this is what Chris has just said. This is the thing that we're talking about now, the NBC thing, not the thing that came out 20 years ago, right? He's talking about now the fact that NBC is putting this proposal through. So they're going to want all the teams to come to America. And there's not the fan base. Even if we spread them, and then even like you said, if we spread them to different parts of the world, there's still not the fan base that you're going to get there for people.
Then there becomes the question of fairness again.
Yeah,
I do understand if it's only certain teams playing it, then people could complain because I think that was the initial thing in the NFL. No one wanted to take that British game
No, they
originally,
didn't.
and it was
No.
all of our shit teams that took it
Right.
because they didn't want their schedule interrupted
Right.
and things like that. So it's got to be all or none, and that's why I kind of like the idea that the only way I see it working personally is in a semi situation like what Wynn said. I do agree with you though, Ian. NBC is not going to want it everywhere. They're going to want all 10 games.
Right. Yeah. No,
They don't give a crap about Thailand or. I mean, I know Wynn wants to go and get the authentic Thai experience, but
yeah. And I just it's difficult. We're gonna get to the comments because comments are juicy right now. So keep them coming.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. And we're gonna read the ones that are highlighted. But I agree. NBC is all about America, but I wouldn't underestimate.
So you're telling me NBC wouldn't bid to get forward?
I think the
games.
But they
to have a
already
game
have.
in Japan.
No, they wouldn't. But you see, the thing about NBC and the way that American television coverage works is they already own the rights to have all the games shown here in America.
No,
all the Premier League games that are either on USA or they're on Peacock, which are both owned by NBC.
Yeah.
So they don't need to bid in for it.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to bid.
They're the ones proposing it, so there's no competition.
No. You've got this all wrong.
No, I've got it. I understand what you're saying.
They've got a contract right now,
which goes for another,
which goes to
2028,
I think.
Right, it's going for.
And they're going to keep renewing it because they're going to pay the money for it.
Starting from 2028, there's a new round of bidding goes in, and one of those rounds of bidding would be for game 39.
But okay,
so NBC
can still bid for the 38 games.
But I'm gonna tell you this though, you can't underestimate the power of NBC. NBC is Sky Sports. I mean,
it's bigger than Sky Sports.
It's bigger because they cover obviously way more than that than just sports. So they're pretty strong, and if they want exclusivity, that's what they want. You know what I mean? And so I just don't. If you bring up now, let's be fair. America is a huge market, and it hasn't even. Darren Neal's talked. Ian, you were there. He doesn't even believe that it's been, that we probably
scratched at the surface.
Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface of what America in soccer here, how big it could become, and it is an opportunity for a team like Newcastle that's basically, being born again, to tap into a very much a virgin market. I don't watch the MLS really. I don't. But there are a lot of MLS fans. There are a lot of soccer fans. And listen, man, this could blow up if they were to tap into the market. Now, how? I don't know. I don't know if bringing the games is going to do that. It could, but it depends, because if you say, you know what, forget if they should or not. Right now, let's talk about it's going to happen. One game in the United States. When? We couldn't even agree on when, how, where, because if you do it at the end of the season, well, that ain't going to be right, is it? For the relegation teams, because they want to be in their home. They want to finish the season strong. What if the last game is essentially the final,
title decider,
first and second got, I don't know, 65, 67 points. They only need one more game, one more point, and they're so is that how the cookie crumbles?
That's why it's going to be the first game,
the opening game. So you would tell.
But I'm just curious. In the UK, is the first game a big deal? Because I know in sports here, in America, usually is a big deal.
In America,
it's not particularly a big deal here, and it could be.
Fair enough.
I also agree. I also agree that even if it was a big deal, I mean, everybody's playing away from the country, so technically the opening game in Newcastle with war flags and all that, they're not going to lose that because it would just be the second game.
That's
right.
I mean, and it can be anyway, depending on whether you're going home or away in round one. Yeah.
Dean C says all games are a big deal. The first few games can have a huge impact on momentum. Well, I'll tell you what, I agree. It's the first time I'm seeing you, Dean. So welcome to the channel, man. We when we beat Aston Villa, I thought we were winning everything in the history of football. Well, it didn't turn out that way. So it can, but it can't. Football there's no formula to football. I mean, there's no formula. I would assume
But
that
you could say that about any single game ever, no matter where it's played. Like on paper, one game never matters, but at the same time, it could matter.
It does. Because imagine if Arsenal lose the league by 1 point.
When did we play them? Did they lose in week 1? Why
when did we play them? When did we play them? That they said the push or whatever.
Yeah,
that must have been like the 7th, 10th game of the league, and nobody cares about that. But if they thought
they
was
are. I think Arteta's still crying.
Right.
You've also got to look at the weather situation too, right? First game of the season. If you're playing that here in the United States, there's not a place in the United States where it's not going to be almost 100 degrees on the pitch for the first game. It is. Even if it's out on the West Coast, August, it's still
Pennsylvania. It's not 100 degrees in August. Maybe a random day.
When we went to Philly last year, right? It was 100 degrees in the stadium,
and that was like the hottest day.
And that was a 3 o'clock kickoff.
But
you do it at night.
But what I'm saying, it
do it at night.
It's still going to be considerably hotter than what it is ever going to be in England for the opening game of the kickoff.
But Ian,
again, who cares? Everyone. I mean, it's colder in Newcastle than in Southampton or in Brighton on the first game week. I mean, how's that fair then? Like,
but it's only a degree or two. It's not like going from like 60 degrees to friggin' 90 degrees.
But in any event, it's the same for both teams.
Yeah, I mean,
the thing is though, they are doing it for money, but
it's for money, absolutely.
But it does make sense. It does make sense that if they say we're trying to grow the fan base, it also makes sense because listen, not one single American wouldn't go to a game.
I agree with you, Chris. I think we're at a moment right now in sports. I mean, that's part of why, I used to be a diehard NFL fan growing up. And just like I'm sure many of you guys, I hear similar vein complaints about the EPL. The league's changed. The game's different sometimes. The NFL that is on today is not what I watched as a kid. And that's why I was like, screw this. It's not the same. And I was looking for other things. So I started with hockey, and then I came to football. So I think there's a lot of people right now with a lot of our sports that they are looking for a new thing. And I think having games, there could be a massive upside in getting new fans. And especially for us, if we're talking just Newcastle centric, we're that sexy team on the rise right now.
Right,
how many times do you get bandwagoners? All right,
here's another point for you then to think of, right? Say we end up playing Luton first day of the season, right, in America, and every other game is played.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah. What you doing, Ian? Where you going?
Got deactivated, I think. But let me tell you something. Let's go. Oh, there's Ian back.
I hit the wrong button. All right, so here's the thing, right? Say all there's 10 games being played in America on the opening day, right? And we get somebody against Luton. How much of that stadium is going to be filled with actual fans from those two teams? Because there's a decent fan base of Geordies, but not enough to fill a stadium over here. Definitely not if you're playing Luton. Now Manchester City, Man United, Arsenal, probably Chelsea,
I don't know that we couldn't though, man. I saw a lot.
But here's the thing.
We did not have that many.
What if they sold the tickets for game 39 without knowing who was going to be playing? And everybody with a ticket is invested in the draw that's then made to say who they're going to get.
Hell no, because the country's too big. You can't unless you had all the games actually within a short place of each other.
No. Because my point is, America would only get 2 games, and they would both be played in the same venue.
You want literally a worldwide show. You want like
Correct.
people playing in
Right, and that's
Two
now,
games
that's-
in
that's
America,
no.
2 games in South Korea, 2 games in
Yeah.
Tokyo, 2 games in
that's-
Sydney, 2 games in Dubai.
that's not going to happen because NBC aren't going to want that. And like I said, this
It'll
is
not be NBC.
Yeah, it will, because NBC are the ones that are putting this forward right now, mate.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are pushing for this. Nobody else.
Well, but
everybody else wants the
regardless,
friendlies.
No,
but
everybody
regardless
wants the
of-
Premier League.
but regardless of what
are not the
NBC
only-
wants to do,
are not the only company who buys the Premier League rights. They sell
They're
the
the
rights
biggest.
to 68 different countries.
well, they're the biggest. NBC is the biggest.
I understand, but I think what he's saying, Win, is NBC's the one pushing this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
I don't know where that's come from.
arguing
I
that other-
haven't heard that it's NBC
No,
pushing
well,
it.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it
it
NBC.
is. That's
Let me read you. Let me read you part of the article. Right, NBC Sports executive John Miller spoke with the Athletic, saying he will continue to push, meaning he's been doing it, for Premier League matches to be played in the United States. NBC holds the exclusive broadcast rights to the Premier League in the United States, with its latest 6-year contract beginning in 2022. Long way to go. Miller said to the Athletic that he is supportive of having league matches in the United States, and there has been already been conversations, very much so, he says, and this is a point that we've had conversations with the Premier League, and they've been very open and receptive to listening to me, he says. Among other things, well, he says this: at some point in the future, I would love to see a couple of Premier League games open the season here in the opening. I don't know if opening is really a big deal, because if you're doing a preseason already, which, by the way, Ian, you were wrong. The Premier League teams are coming to do preseason in America,
Right,
so
but
Newcastle or not.
Newcastle on that, yeah.
So, but it wasn't that.
Is it the same summer series though? I thought I heard they're not doing the summer series.
It's not,
just
and it's
teams are
out
coming.
and it's out on the West Coast. Right here in Baltimore, we've got AC Milan playing Barcelona, right, which is going to absolutely pack out that stadium, right? Of AC Milan's of Barcelona fans. Why? Because they're huge throughout the world.
Well, and also DC is extremely multicultural.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, to be able to bring that kind of global.
But how do you get there?
I think you underestimate American
and
sports fans, Ian.
I don't, mate. Trust me, I don't.
I think that stadium would sell out even if it was Luton versus Fulham.
Well, Luton Fulham.
It would. It wouldn't.
No,
mate. So,
Ian has a good point. You could get some stinker draws that would not sell out, especially if they're then put.
Yeah, but you got to be smart about it. You got to be smart about it. You got to be smart. Put Luton and Fulham at the Inter Miami Stadium where there's like 10 people or in each side. Like, be smart about it. Now you get the AT&T Stadium in Texas, the San Antonio one. If you want Man City, Man United. If you want, I don't know. Listen, we got a lot of fans. I'm not gonna agree with Ian saying that we. I don't know what you refer to as American fans. American fans are very passionate.
Yeah, they are.
English people didn't invent that.
But I'm talking about American Geordie fans. We don't have that many.
Well, American Geordie fan. Well, I mean, I'm not American Geordie.
We're still building. We're still a small unit. You go around,
and this will help us build.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, because we're talking about Geordie.
Also, people in the States will travel.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll do. Geordie Revolution is, why do Americans have this attitude that they are the biggest and most important people on the planet? Not a personal attack. No, but I don't think. Listen, if the article said that the Premier League wants to go to Egypt, we'll be talking about it. You know what I mean? The same ways. It has nothing to do with America per se. But they are looking to do that. Their Neil said that we haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to the American market. So it's not us. I could care less. I never thought about this. I never thought this would be an idea. But and like Josh said, folks, some English fans hate us enough that we might not even want this, because we'll never hear the end of it. Now we're gonna go to some comments here, because we gotta obviously give people their platform. They have their say, of course, and we're gonna do that. Josh, by the way, thank you. You became a member, man. Appreciate that. Lewis, Newcastle fan, been a member for 2 months. Thank you, brother. Says do a deal with season holders if it goes to America. Do a deal with season holders. But
absolutely, I would agree with that.
Well, but
There's no
If
deal
you
to
if
do.
you
They're not losing anything.
they're not losing anything, because if you say 28 games for season ticket holders, always been that, and then the 29th game, it's an added neutral game, so it wouldn't be no deal. But listen, when we're talking about this, don't take it as if we think, we should, the Premier League should play in America instead of the UK anymore. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
I, as a presenter, got a job to do. I put the facts on the table and let everybody discuss. So don't mistaken what I'm saying, trying to say that that's my opinion. I honestly, not saying I could care less. One game to me, it would be nice. I would try to go if it happens, but I'm not losing sleep over it. So, and if it's gonna, if it's gonna affect the local fans across the UK, they don't do it. It really doesn't matter. So we got to weigh in the facts, though. We got to weigh in the pros and the cons, and not just say, well, stupid Americans, because it makes no sense. So let's keep going with the comments. Beer Vikings says absolutely no way. It violates sporting integrity. Imagine going down by 1 point because you played a home game in Toad Suck.
But there's a perfect example. First of all,
Arkansas.
one, I don't understand how it violates integrity. Two, there is never, ever, ever going to be one of the 10 games put in Arkansas.
Yeah, they're never going to have one. They're not going to come to my neck of the woods and have a Premier League, I tell you that. I'll be the only one there. Jordan Revolution, even living 50 minutes from MCG, I think this postseason PR trip to Australia is a stupid idea. Yes, I'm going, but play internationally for points is just wrong. Jesus is mental. It's called the English Premier League for a reason. Beer Viking, they should make more of a spectacle of the preseason. Lewis says it's just another bloody game on the players' legs. It's not fair. I think they should do a deal for the people who have a season tickets who don't have to pay to watch the game in America. AG says it wouldn't surprise me if it happens. Masters and his band of bastards will sell the soul for money. GR says, I think you would find if you added up all fans that don't live in the UK, there would be more fans than those living in northeast vicinity.
NA1, Newcastle one.
Yeah, Newcastle. Newcastle. Sorry. AG says it will cause hell from local fans that have season tickets. Again,
Why?
if you add a game, though, like I would understand that if you take away
if you're taking away a home game, yes, but you're not. They're still getting 19 home games exactly as they are now.
19, yeah, not 29.
And as for an extra game in the legs, at the minute, all of these teams are going abroad and playing more than one game. They could probably go away now, just play the one game and make more money from that one game than they're going to make from all these preseason tournaments that they put together.
Yeah.
So it's going to be less games in their legs.
Beer Viking,
one more meaningful game.
Beer Viking says MLS versus Premier League preseason summer series. Well, that would be. I'll be over that.
I think they've done that.
Yeah. Mighty Mag. I also think that if it's your first game is at home, then last game of the season should be away. Vice versa. That's just my thing.
Well, that's the computer fixture.
Yeah.
The football fixture computer, which brings up some ridiculous fixtures, doesn't it?
Yeah. Computer. Okay. DNC says doubt it will go anywhere. The trouble alone would negatively impact training as well as the rest and recovery. It would completely offset the culture of English football. Only the FA will really profit from it. And NBC in America and everybody else. So it's not just English people benefiting from making money out of this. Everybody else is. Georgia Revolution. Last game, hell no. Imagine if the season came down to the last game. It wouldn't be.
That's why I'm staying first game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think anyone thinks it should be the last.
Didn't see it'd be like moving the Super Bowl to Germany. No, it wouldn't, because it would be like it would be like the FA Cup final moving it to America. Then that would be everything. That wouldn't. I would go protest. Like I would go protest for the English folks, because it would make sense. So the Super Bowl doesn't go to England. They take whatever round, whatever week they're playing, and they do there. They don't take the Super Bowl over there, so it wouldn't be the same. My man DNC. Beer Viking, you can't put it into a random draw. Makes no financial sense. No financial sense.
Why wouldn't
AG says, Chris, I will be sending the comms to the winner prize in the morning. First chance. Oh yeah. Bruno Genius won a print of Bruno Guimaraes as a member. So there we go. Antagonizing Jordy. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for that. DNC doesn't make financial sense anyway. The travel would come out of the club's
If it
finances.
didn't make financial sense, it wouldn't happen. Simple as.
Well,
not
I agree
that
with that. I
expensive
agree with
to
that
travel.
because if these people, they're not going to lose money, they're going to make it.
It's
If they're going to lose
drops in
it,
the bucket.
they'll stay in there. They'll stay where they're at. DNC, the home atmospheres is also a big part of attraction of the Premier League.
That's right. So both teams are losing home advantage. Nobody's got home advantage.
Right, right. Benjamin Maven, he is American. He says, do it as a derby during late November. Draw a Premier League team and draw an MLS team to play each other. And now they're transatlantic
Meaningless
rivals.
friendly.
That would be
I mean,
cool.
if it's a friendly, sure, interesting concept.
Yeah. Imagine Sunderland in Newcastle in the United States. Boy, that would be that.
I've never
I
seen
don't
a
know.
Macam in America.
I don't know.
Oh, I
I've never seen a
have.
Macam.
I'm
I've never
just
seen a
kidding.
Macam in
I
America.
know they're here.
I've never seen a Macam in America. There's no.
Have you
Actually, it was
ever
really
seen a
funny.
Macam in
Real short
Miami?
story at the Philly summer game. Right, we had a big tailgate, as many people probably know, and this random, like probably 8-year-old boy walked by in a Sunderland kit, and all like 300 drunken of us start yelling, chanting at this little 8-year-old boy in a Sunderland kit.
Man, shame on you, Josh.
No.
But no, I've never seen the Macam. I've never seen the American Macam, not even on YouTube. But Beer says sporting integrity relies on every club having the exact same fixture, and they would, Beer Mike and NFL are not a risk of relegation or financial insolvency. Well, yeah, they're not at risk of relegation, of course. I mean, but
I mean, if anything, teams would be making more money off of this. Again, the fans that go to it would be irrelevant. Really,
I would assume if this ever came about, teams would vote for this, and if they vote for this,
Yeah, of course they would.
They would say, "Look, this is what you're going to get, my friend. You're going to vote yes or no." And if it doesn't benefit them, then they won't.
I'm not sure. I'm not convinced everyone.
I think they. Well, yeah, but
I think it would be popular, but I think it would be closer to 50-50.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm reading some of these comments on air, and I can see what people are saying. You know, make the summer series better. You know, that's how you're going to increase fan base here by making it. Don't just like.
But how do you make meaningless games better? That's the problem with even our own domestic preseason games. No one gives a shit about preseason because there's no weight to it.
But you're drawing the fans in. Do that for a few seasons, right? For at least another 5-6 years. Build the fan bases to make it worthwhile for the actual teams to come over and actually be in front of almost the home. Because even like what Wynn's saying, even if like both teams are playing away, you still want in Newcastle's case 7,000 Geordies there. You know, so you're still going to want to make it sound like it's something there. That's now when we played in Philly last year. Yeah, we were the biggest crowd that were there, but most of the people that I was sitting with, and I was in the supporters end, they were all Geordies that had come over for the match. There was a few Americans there, but the majority of them were Geordies.
Well,
see, I disagree with that. I mean, there were a lot more traveling Geordies than I thought. I mean, there were so many from different fan groups. I mean, I talked to a guy that drove all the way from Indianapolis that morning.
Yeah, I'm not saying there wasn't, but there wasn't enough, is what I'm saying, to actually have that.
But that's because it was a meaningless friendly. What I'm saying is, if it was a proper Premier League game, it would sell out.
How about
it would probably sell out, but it wouldn't be full. It wouldn't be in with enough fans from either team.
But how about the Premier League? If they were to do this, they scout really where the fans are at, and according to that, put the games near. You know what I mean? Because you can do that. You can do that. You can scout where most fans are, and do it that way. I mean, if they were to do it, I'm telling you, my personal opinion is this shouldn't happen because to me,
I agree. It's just going to make too many people get in a tizzy, and I think it's actually an interesting question from antagonizing again because this is NBC and getting into the boringness of our TV rights. So ESPN owns La Liga, Bundesliga,
they talk about La Liga,
all of that.
They talk about
you just had a comment up there from antagonizing Jordy. he was asking about what about La Liga? Has that been proposed? That
it
would
has
be a
been.
whole
It has
different
been.
company
It
because
has been
ESPN
because
owns.
ESPN, but ESPN is also a big dog, bigger
No,
than
they
Sky
are.
Sports.
I'm just
Big,
saying.
no, I'm saying bigger than Sky Sports. So
Man,
yo,
I
are you
don't
kidding
know.
me? ESPN Sports, almost
Sky
trillions.
Sports is bigger than you think. It's not just the UK. Sky Sports is in Italy,
And then,
Germany.
then Europe, but ESPN is across the world. You got ESPN Argentina,
It's not as
ESPN Brazil,
global
ESPN
as you think.
Peru.
It's mostly
Yes,
North
ESPN
America
Peru.
centric.
Believe that. But
Peru,
by the way, shout
Peru.
out to my man Nobi Solano for taking this Spartans job. He's from Black.
He coaches Bly.
So
You'll
I
never
sent
beat
Never beat
Nobby.
Solano.
I sent him a message, and Nobi, my idol. So yeah. Lewis, I'm get to you, man. If you're sending a message, if you're sending a super chat, we're gonna get to it. We got a lot of comments right now, so we're gonna get to it. No worries. Let me keep reading some of these comments because the fans have a lot to say about this, and I want to get to as many as I can. DNC NFL is a completely different type of league. It's a profit business. So is the Premier League, my friend.
Yeah, the Premier
Yeah.
League.
So is
Don't
the
know
Premier
what world
League.
you're living in if you don't.
Everybody is a profit business. Everybody. Basketball, cricket.
Now,
Listen, if you don't make money, you don't have a league. You don't have a team. You don't have a sport. That's just the bottom line, mate. You know what I mean? Listen. If you really think that what's the president of the Premier League? I forgot his name now. Damn it.
Masters.
Richard Masters.
If you think Masters thinks about you and your feelings and how good you feel, you're wrong, my friend. And to a certain extent, it is a business. If you think PIF is, wanted to be the savior of the old giant Newcastle United and just felt horrible and all this, could be, but they saw a business opportunity. Now it's good for us because they got us out of the hole that we were in, but it's a business opportunity. And if they don't see that they could make money of it in the future, they would not have bought Newcastle United. Let's just be realistic, man. Come on, no kids play, no child's play here, man. Everybody makes money off of this. All right. Dean also says the only thing that could potentially work for playing competitive games in another country is the Carabao Cup, not Premier League. Now that's something that I brought up as well. Why not just have the Community Shield final here? And and then like the UK folks are not really gonna go crazy about that.
Right.
Yeah, I
You
would
could-
assume so.
You couldn't do the Caribou Cup neither because that's not owned by NBC. That's,
Well, but no, I understand that, but I mean, we gotta be a little bit more broad. I mean, what if English football wants to do that, wants to expand, and because listen, if they fall in love with Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, they're gonna follow them into the Premier League. So
Sure.
it's not like you choose. So, but again, I don't see that happening because it's a cup. How are you gonna play Sunday in England and then go to play Wednesday for the Carabao Cup in Seattle? It just makes no sense.
Well, and again, you'd have to do some kind of special gap like the NFL does. Doesn't the NFL team get like an extra? They always get their bye week after it or something like that.
Yeah, but
So
we
you'd
don't have.
to-
But we don't have.
I know they don't have bye weeks, but I'm just saying, if everyone's doing it on the same week, it's not that hard to build a calendar to give everyone extra time to get back. I mean, I'm sorry, the game thing again is a lazy excuse. How many pointless international friendlies are played, and no one gives a shit about the legs and tired of that? Like, there's just as many other pointless games that go on for money.
I totally agree with you on the international friendlies. I think we're playing too many international friendlies throughout the year.
Yeah,
FIFA.
FIFA's
all about that.
But when it comes to actual domestic football, right? We really don't have that. We don't have that kind of game. Every game is a game that the teams fight for. Every point, whether it's Premier League, they fight for every point. If it's the Carabao Cup, if it's
one second.
But
Go
you
on,
were
finish your
talking
point.
about friendlies. But if it's the Carabao Cup, every game is played for that. FA Cup, every game is played for that. There's no friendlies or anything in that.
Yeah.
So you can't. It was like the NFL. The NFL have been trying to have a team, an expansion team in the UK, but the reason why they haven't is because the logistics. There's just no way they could do it.
Yeah.
They'd have to have so that half the year that the English team, half the season the English team was playing all their away games first.
Yeah.
and then they'd have to be at home for the second half of the season to play all their home games.
So DNC says, hope it doesn't too, but American sports watching is real. What do you mean about that, DNC? Explain to me what sports watching mean, because I see it all over Twitter, I see it all over radio, I hear it all over the radio, I see it on TV. Everybody uses sport watching nowadays. Even in Newcastle, they're doing protests talking about sports watching. So what do you mean American sports watching is real? Like, what does that mean? Are we evil Americans trying to implement your angelic, stay in your angelic sports? Is that what we're trying to do? What does that mean, sports washing? I want to know, because I'm a bit confused, because I see it everywhere. Even some people from Newcastle protesting, which, by the way, I haven't heard anything yet. But you know what? I'll say it Monday before I have to bite my own tongue. But I've been seeing about sports washing all over the place. So what is that meaning? The meaning of that. What's going on here? Are we trying to?
I think it's just, again, we get accused of we want everything and we're trying to make everywhere like us. And listen, I'm probably one of the least patriotic Americans you'll ever meet in your life. Like, I know you're a serviceman, Chris. I fully appreciate that. I could never do that personally, but I admire it. I appreciate the blessings I have of being born here. But people so often want to blame us for what our politicians do, what our big companies do. And like you and I have said, I have never once thought I want a Premier League round here, and this is what I want, and give it to me now. Like, no, we don't care. It's because people want to make money and they know they'll make money. So that's why some of these things really start to grate at me, is trying to make me feel like I'm almost a piece of crap just because of where I was born. We can go down that road because the UK and Great Britain has such a great global history as well. I mean, I don't want to play a game of that, but everyone has their dark histories of trying to manipulate and do everything. It's just part of human history and being humans, which has nothing to do with sport. So, I get mad about it even in the Saudi sense. Sure, Saudi has done questionable things, but they are not your country. If they collectively want to do that as their country, they have every right to do that. And just because you think it's wrong, that's fine. That's why you live there. And don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that what I think has been done there, I personally agree with. But again, it's the same thing that people want to say about this whole American thing. Who says we get to tell the world what's right? I'm married. My wife is Russian originally, and it makes for some fun times in this household debating about shit. And because of just very different political and what was normal growing up. And the biggest thing it makes me realize is just like, listen, we're all peons, and stop lumping everyone in together. And I know many of the people are just sharing their opinions. It's not meant as personal to you or me, Chris, but I just think it's again, I don't think any American fan asked for this.
Everyone, like you said, gets tied in with the same brush. You can't take it personal when people say you Americans. What they meaning is the American corporate system. That's what they mean. It's like I don't take. It's like I don't.
Let's not pretend that the British corporate system is any
I'm
different.
not doing. No, listen to me. Let me finish for you. Right? It's like me. I'm English. I don't care what people say about the British Empire. It had absolutely sod all to do with me. So I don't take it personally. And that's the thing. You don't take this personally when they say you Americans. They mean the American corporate system. When people say the British Empire, they don't mean me. Because I wasn't even there.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
But you're not.
There's a corporate
system
in every country.
It's only a
so
small
why is it
percentage.
the American corporate
system?
Because it's only a small percentage.
Well, what they should. It's a simple fix. They should say the American corporate system, not you Americans.
Right.
But that's as simple as that. Corporate system.
Because when you say that, then I had to take offense because you're talking to me. You're talking to me. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're meaning behind it.
But you don't need to. That's the thing.
But besides that, though, a lot of people down our opinions, our football opinions, because we're simply American,
Yeah.
and we're just talking about football. So it's not about this
Yeah, I
American
don't want to make
corporate.
this into the
and,
politics
you know what
show.
I mean? And listen, we're not going to turn into a politics show, but you know, it is what it is. Lewis says, in playing, thank you for the super chat, by the way, £2. Thank you so much. It says, and playing the Champions League final in America. See, nobody here in America has asked for any of this nonsense. Not one single person. We're having a debate, obviously, because we're having an American show, but nobody here in America, I would assume, has voted. There's no voting. There's no poll somewhere where or we're trying to collect signatures to have this. We could care less. We know where it belongs to. We know it's English. Nobody's trying to take away English football away from English people. Nobody's trying to do that. It's your directors, and you know what? English people in charge of English football are entertaining this. So this could have been nipped in the butt a long time ago and said, you know what? This nonsense. This is English football, and so we're keeping it here. No, they're entertaining it for a reason.
All right. So has anybody from the FA actually said? Now you read that article from the Atlantic where the guy said we've spoken to the FA and the Premier League, and they said, has there been any quote from the FA or the Premier League saying, oh yeah, we're going to think about this?
Richard Moss has said that they're considering it. Yeah.
Well, and didn't the article also say he felt it's been received well?
Well, yeah. Well, why would he? But Ian, he's not a fan. He's an executive.
Right.
I don't understand why an executive would just say that out of lying. Out of doing something. Why would I just don't get it? Why would he say that? Wouldn't he get in trouble?
No, because they say shit to us all the time, dude.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
You know, they tell us lies all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So unless there's something that comes out of England to back it up, saying, oh yeah, we have actually been approached by NBC and they want us to actually have a game over in America or games played in America. Mm-hmm. Then I'll actually believe that there's something actually going on. But right now, there's nothing. All it is just this one article. It's like all these rumors about the fact that we're selling Bruno, we're selling Isaac.
It's not. It's not the same, because you're not saying that freaking Craig Hope said that Bruno might leave when he's a journalist, even though people adore him and praise to him and pray to him twice a day. We're talking about an executive. He is in the conversations, in the boardrooms. He's saying that. It's essentially if Eddie Howe were to say, or even anybody, Darren Eales, they're in charge, man. So we can't just say we should just brush this under the rug and nothing's happened. It has something behind it. He's saying the Premier League president is entertaining it.
But we have, like I said, unless I actually, I'm a skeptic when it comes to anything, right? I don't believe in shit unless it's proven. Right, unless you can prove it, I don't believe in it. Doesn't matter what it is. So unless I see something coming out of the UK, right, that says, oh yeah, this is something that's definitely going off, then all it is right now is just speculation.
Well,
yeah, not speculation.
No speculation. If we're waiting for the officials to come out and say anything, we wouldn't have a show any day. We will have 2 shows a day, a year. So, all right, let's go to the comments. I know it got heated, but nothing but love for the British.
For sure.
I love the Royals, man, and I love Bridgerton. That's how much I love the English folks. Dean C says the FF is all about profit. The clubs make losses every season. The club ownership is rarely profitable, unlike the NFL. Benjamin Maven, Jordis will travel to the U.S. for the piss up alone. Wow, that wouldn't surprise me. Brian Scott, Premier League USA is a thing now. I like it, but kind of sucks of us, don't it? Bruno Genius, I'd rather see more structured summer series tournaments. UK-based fans are already pretty pissed off with the cartel, VAR, FFP, cost of tickets, etc. We don't need anything else to shit on the fan base. Gary Mon, welcome back, Gary. Last time you got mad because I was telling people that we have memberships available. So happily you moved on from that, and and you're back watching. Gary Mon says, "Hi guys, it's a ridiculous idea. It just displays how somebody making money adversely affects everything else." Gem Stasher says, why not play a game in Brazil or Argentina then? Which, by the way, my wife had a comment there about personally when River Plate and Boca came to play at Lumen Field in Seattle. A great amount of people traveled to watch and wanted to see their favorite players. It was a great experience. Yeah, we went there, and that's a team that plays in
I'll
Argentina.
tell you why not Brazil or Argentina, because they've got their own thriving
they make a
football
lot of money on that.
competitions.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, you're not.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
send it to Brazil or Argentina. You send it to somewhere where they haven't got a thriving Premier League of their own.
Brian Scott, you get what, 30 degrees MFR? I'm dead in that. That's cold day to you. No, we can't generalize either. I mean, certain parts of it. When it comes to cold, the cold is the same as in UK, man. There's no difference in cold here in
not
UK.
really that much different.
And even some places, I don't know if in the UK it gets as cold as Chicago or New York. We're talking about cold.
When he's saying 30 degrees, he's talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
Yeah. No. I understand. I understand what he's talking about.
That's hot for the UK.
But it's hot to us.
But it's hot to it's not like I'm chilling.
30.
Yesterday was 90 degrees, and I was
we get about 3 days a year above 30.
Yeah.
We didn't even used to get that.
Yeah. Key 88. This whole Premier League, this whole playing the Premier League game in the US is a load of tripe. I love tripe. Didn't see allocation for a game in the US would be handed out similar to Wembley Cup finals. Most seats would be corporate. Only about 20 would go to the fans. Derek Wedden says, guess the T-shirt Kennon's ready and the brass band. What a load of rubbish. That's Derek's opinion. Beer Viking NBC, no bloody chance. Beer Viking, if gamers are played in the US, then that's the end of the Premier League. Dennis Rodman says, I don't know about American supporters who even want this. The allure, how do you say that? The allure of the Premier League to Americans is how not American it is. I actually have to agree with Dennis. How many Americans have asked for this? None. I guarantee you, it's probably you find less than 100 people that actually wanted this. It's an idea that came up. Listen, this just comes up, so we got to talk about it. And again, the Premier League, according to this, what was this guy's name? John Miller, who is an NBC Sports executive, they entertained the idea. So, essentially is that. Gary Mon says, thank you to Mason for being a member for a month. Appreciate that, Mason. And thank you again, Lewis, for your super chat. Gary says, if this is allowed to happen, then English football will no longer be English football. It will signal a very negative response in English fans. The game is exclusively ours, not America's.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. It's like football is the world game. That's why it's called the beautiful game, and it's played in pretty much every country in the world. It's not exclusively ours. We put the rules together for association football, but it's not. It doesn't belong to us. It belongs to everybody. If it belonged to us, we'd be winning the World Cup every season, and we'd be, and
Man U will be relegated to the 6th division. Man U will be relegated to the 6th division.
I have to disagree with that. It's not exclusively ours. Yeah. It's like a lot of things that the English do. We come up with the idea, put it out somewhere else, and then it gets picked up, and then we get left behind. So I can't agree with that by saying it's exclusively ours. That's
okay. I've actually pinned the link in the chat. If you're a fan, if you're an English fan, if you're an American fan, come on and have your say for a brief moment, 1 or 2 minutes. You don't need a camera, but a lot of typing and not a lot of talking. Come on in on the show right now. Have your say. We don't bite. So no worries.
I might.
There we go. He might bite. Well, no, he's getting ready for other stuff, man. He can't move too fast. You know what I mean? He got stuff coming up. Ashton McMahon, welcome to the show. It's the first time I'm seeing you. Says this is English. This is an English league. Ashton also says, I think another summer series. It's fair. It's not fair to take our club away from us. Lewis,
how would we be taking your?
It's
a singular game. It's an extra game. We're not taking anything from you. It's extra and whatever.
Yeah. Lewis says, I wouldn't be surprised in the next 10 to 15 years that the Premier League games won't be playing in. Well, I don't know about that.
Well, they won't, because they'll be
Well,
played in
that's-
Europe, won't they? Because eventually there will be a Super League. So half the league will end up going and joining a Super League.
Derek says American football is not big in the UK.
Just maybe, the additional revenue that we get from a 39th game would prevent a Super League, because the additional revenue would be there.
Brian Scott says, "Why are you salty, acting like you haven't effing night, lad?" I don't know who you're talking to, but let's continue. Derek says American football is not big in the UK. Nope, sure ain't.
But it is, because every game that they play in England sells out.
Well, yeah, there you go. That's a good point. I didn't know that.
When I lived in the UK,
By the way, Chris, the link is not working in the chat.
I would be awake.
What do you mean? They can click on it.
I'd be awake till 2 a.m. watching the Super Bowl. So it is big. We'd all have Super Bowl parties and stuff. Places like, bars would be open for it.
At one point, it was a mockery. Like, people laughed at it, and I still think there's a lot of people.
I've been in the States now for 26 years. So this is before I moved to the States. Before I moved to the States, I used to fly into Minneapolis to watch the Vikings play. Right. So there was a lot of us. Yeah. Obviously it wasn't as big then as it is now, but you can't turn around and say that American football isn't big in the UK, because it is. I know people.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I don't watch football.
I love NFL. Me.
I don't watch American football, so
I don't watch it either.
But
I got a couple of friends that came over last season and spent $600 going to see the Vikings play.
For sure.
And that was for the price of the ticket. So, it is big.
Gary says it's completely stupid. One game would be the tip of the iceberg. It's all about NBC creaming billions and has nothing to do with improving the game in England. Well, I guess you're right.
Hit the link, Gary, and come on.
They're trying to they're trying to improve the game across worldwide. Not just that's the purpose of it. And as far as bettering the game itself, the football, the pitch, how can they do that? They can go in the lab, create a Messi, create a Cristiano Ronaldo. That would be a way to do it. What else? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, they're executives. They're going to make a decision to whether how they can make the club's money, themselves money, their associations money, grow the fan base worldwide. I
think one real quick thing.
Not bought Newcastle United not to make money. They have bought Newcastle United to make money.
Oh, they've already doubled what they paid for.
Well, but it's nothing to them. But it's nothing to them. So they want more.
Important though. We talked about like Inter, Barca, some of these other big global teams earlier. I'm not saying obviously their histories of winning don't play into why they're big. But what's a big reason and why they're a big club? Because they're known worldwide.
And you know why they're known worldwide? Because they're Spanish-speaking clubs, and a lot of Hispanic.
No, I said Man U, too, Liverpool. I'm talking about all of them. I just said Inter and them as examples. Man U's huge globally. Liverpool's huge globally. Man City's growing because of their takeover a decade and a half ago.
It's because they're winning teams. And that's the thing. But they're winning teams.
It goes hand in hand. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean,
they're winning. They're winning teams. Before Chelsea got bought by Abramovich, you wouldn't see a Chelsea supporter anywhere outside of Chelsea. Same with Man City.
Right, I agree. I agree with all that, Ian. So, what's your point?
If anything, you're proving what I'm saying. Chelsea became big out of nothing.
My point is.
Hold on. Finish your point real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
My point is, if we were winning and finishing top 4 and winning the silverware, then you would see more Newcastle fans, because we would have that prestige, as it were. Right. Chelsea got where they were because Abramovich bought the silverware. City got where they are now with their fan base. Why? Yep. Because their owners came along and bought the silverware. Man U have always been a big team. Liverpool have always
I've
been a
always
big
bought the
team.
silverware.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
so
know,
did Man U.
All
I mean,
right.
we talked
Well,
about.
hold on. Let me
Right.
go. We got
Hang on,
Gary
hang on.
Mon. Gary Mon got on. He put in his big boy drawers on, and he's on the show. No camera needed, so no exception there. Gary, how you doing? Hello, Gary. Do you hear me? Gary.
Can you hear us?
Gary,
Yeah.
Gary.
I can hear you. Hey, how you doing?
Okay, and I could just hear 5 people screaming at the tops
Oh
of
yeah,
their
man. That's just
voices.
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
man. I apologize about that. How you doing? How are you? First of all, how are
First
you?
off,
Well, hold on. Let me ask you, where are you from? What part of the UK?
what it is right. There's a delay. I'm hearing, so I'm.
Okay, sorry about that. Where are you from, mate? Gary.
I'm from Newcastle.
Nice, man. Well, nice. Well, listen. You've been a fan I'm assuming for a long time. I don't know, but So, what is your perspective on all this, man? Tell us straight to the point. What do you think about this nonsensical idea of the Geordie team that you saw grow up in your youth? This idea of bringing this team to America. What do you think?
I was at the Fairs Cup final.
So was I.
Right. Chris, how do I get rid of this delay so I'm not getting the echo?
You can't, mate.
What do you
It's
mean
just
echo? Echo? There shouldn't be no echo.
Gary, do you have the sound on in the studio or from?
Yeah,
the
you might have like your phone on, your phone speaker, maybe your TV, whatever you're using. So that might because we don't hear an echo, we hear you.
I'm on my PC.
Yeah.
Have you got this? Hang on, mate. Have you got this open?
Well, I'll speak. I'll speak anyway. Right,
Yeah,
Ian, you misunderstood me when I mentioned about English. No, right. Somebody was asking us, have I got something switched on? Sorry, this is bad.
No, you're fine, man. No worries. Just tell us, just tell us what you think, man. Don't.
Right.
Ignore the
Okay.
delay.
Then. So, Ian, right, when I was referring to English football, right, it's the English game, right? See, I can only hear myself now repeating. It was about the uniqueness of the English game, right? It's not about that the game belongs to everybody. It's about what makes the Premiership, what makes English fans, and the relationship between English people and their club, right? Fine if people around the world want to watch it, but like you were mentioning about the Super Bowl and things, you're not going to move the Super Bowl to Iraq, right?
Right.
It's watched. If people want to watch it, they watch it on TV, right? Because it's covered, right? So therefore, having a company like NBC come in and start taking something that is quintessentially another country's product and identity is going to destroy it. It's destroying the fabric of it. If people want to watch it, fine. If people want to support it from afar, fine. But you can't start, because there's fans in Malaysia and China, you can't start saying, oh, well, we're going to have to start playing games there to give them the opportunity, right? It's the fact that it's so quintessentially English is what gives it its appeal. And I think interfering with that very fabric is going to be, as I mentioned, the tip of the iceberg. To start taking it out of England and putting it elsewhere, it's going to take away its identity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
well,
I agree with you for the Premier League. I disagree with you from football in general. I watched the semi-final of the European Cup the other night in Dortmund, right? Dortmund has a stadium of 81,000 people. That stadium was absolutely full of Dortmund fans. It was absolute wall-to-wall yellow. So I can't see where you say that fans from other countries and other teams or other countries don't have that same sort of passion as what the English do, because I do have to disagree with you on that. I understand that that the Premier League is something special. It's something special for the Premier League teams. But I think every league that has a
So would you move?
sports thing.
So okay then. So therefore, would you move Dortmund games and start Dortmund and German teams, start them playing in America too? If NBC want to make money out of them, it's another case of how money destroys things. Just so some fat cat can make more and more and more.
I agree with you
I think
100%.
we all agree.
I think we all agree with you 100% on that. It shouldn't
No,
be.
not necessarily. Gary, do you think the Premier League that we watch now is a better product than the first division that we used to watch years ago?
I don't think it is.
Well, I'm asking Gary.
Yeah, he's got his point. Yeah.
Well, product win is an interesting word. I suppose the standard of it is probably higher. It's a different game. If you go back to the Man U with George Best and Dennis Law and Bobby Charlton,
Yeah.
right? That nothing was better than that.
Right.
And then you had the Arsenal of Wenger's regime, and that was absolutely supreme, right? So it comes. It doesn't have to be. It's not. I know where you're going with this. It's about the money and the input of the Premier League and the television.
But all I'm saying is it's the money which has enabled the Premier League to improve to such a degree that the whole world wants to see it. It's money that's allowed us to do that. Because if you go back to the 80s, it was like Serie A was the
yeah, but when you can't stop moving
football
it to
Italia.
those
We were all
countries.
watching. We were all watching football Italia in the 80s. Because that was the biggest league in the world, because they had the most money, so they used to buy all our best players.
You can't.
Now the tide's turned.
Right.
Now we're doing it.
Go on, Gary.
taken. But you can't stop moving it out of England. That's my point.
You're
can't
not moving
stop
it out of England. You're moving one game. One game we're talking about.
For whose benefit? NBC's.
Well, I mean,
Well, no,
Gary,
for the
Gary,
teams
hold on.
in the Premier League, because they're going to benefit financially from
but,
it.
Gary, one benefit could be that you do well for the abroad fans, in this case, the American fans. That is a big market, so you are benefiting some fans. You wouldn't be, and again, I'm not for this, to be honest. I'm here to kind of be a moderator in this debate. So you add one more game, not take away a game from a season ticket holder or from a regular Premier League.
Well, what scares me, Chris, is that I see this as somebody getting their foot in the door, right? This is why I said the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
Because once they're in, then it's like having somebody on the board who they can start then buying up more shares or influencing, because they have the wealth and the power. And you know what the FA is like? They will bend over and spread them for money. So it's
I get what you're saying. I understand your fear, but I think maybe it could even spread to a couple games if they get greedy. I'm not living in a delusional world because yes, they want money, but there's no way that I think even the Man U's and the Big Six that really would profit from this would want all of a sudden every game not played in the UK. Like I don't think that's a realistic fear to have, that it's going to get that bad, that it's just then it's 5 games, then it's 10 games. It's again, it would take away from it. I'll give you a perfect example in hockey, which obviously is nowhere near global popularity scale. About 2 decades ago, they introduced a single game that 2 teams played in on New Year's Day outside in the snow. And the initial couple years, it did gangbusters, brought in crap tons of money, so many neutral eyes who didn't care because it also was not a common sporting day in America. So there wasn't a lot of other sports to compete against, and it made tons of money. And then the NHL got greedy, and now they do like 6 games a year outside. And it ruined it because now it's not a special occasion and they don't actually care that much. So again, just in the hypothetical, because again, I want to make it clear, I don't think anyone on this panel is really arguing for this, but I could see the over time you could build it into a 1 game type thing and make it in a cup-esque thing that could bring some benefit to both sides. But again, for the proof of what this whole show has been, I don't want this because
Josh, I hear what you're saying, right? But this is about NBC making money.
For sure.
Well,
This is purely about NBC.
but Gary, you know that you think the Premier League are some choir boys that are just watching the evil Americans take it away. No, they're going to make a lot of money too, my friend. Don't you think?
And Gary, NBC.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they're as corrupt as anybody else. But the thing is, once they start being led by NBC and companies like that, it's going to be the end because it's
You're worried that it'll be the thin end of the wedge, Gary.
Yes, exactly, because once a company is making money, right? What is its the aim there after that is to make more money, no matter how, right? And no matter how it affects anything, it's just about making more and more and more. And it doesn't matter in 30, 40, 50, 60 years' time what football looks like anymore, because it will be presented to the generations then as it is then, right? They won't know what football was like today or what it was like back in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s. They will only see what they have on at that time, right?
Yeah.
And so it won't even be, it'll stop being football anymore.
Right.
It'll be a game that is just has been reconstructed by somebody, some huge corporate device.
Right. Okay, we got stay right there, Gary. Though we got also Benjamin Maven, American fan
Levi,
from Pittsburgh, and Levi, our youngest contributor. Benjamin, tell me, man, what do you think about this whole thing? Do you care? You're American, so
yeah.
Tell us your perspective.
And my parents are Geordies. My grandparents are Geordies. I'm first generation. He's second generation. I have no problems with not coming here to play these games for the Premier League regular season. But as my man, Mighty Win, said last night on the show, speaking of international breaks, you got these long breaks in the middle of the season. Why not have that one extra game, just one, bring all 20 teams and have one game that will count for the Premier League, but you would have massive revenue. You would have everybody. You would have the you would grow the popularity, and it's one game. They're both on neutral fields, and they're going off on these useless international breaks. They're going off and training in Dubai. Why not just have another game? Okay, count it for the Premier League, but everybody's neutral. There's no home, there's no away, and see what that brings in. You will have people traveling from all over, just as they did with the summer series.
Yeah.
So would you want that then at the same time when there is an international break? Is that what you're saying? So when the international break's on, have the game over here, because I can see a real negative on that. All the players are going to be playing for the national team.
I think you're saying
that wouldn't work.
So you're not going to be getting that big draw, because you're not going to be seeing your Brunos, you're not going to be seeing your Isaacs, you're not going to be seeing your Botmans, you're not going to be seeing your Gordons, your Trippiers, because they're going to be in for the national team.
I agree with that, Ian. Maybe not an international break, but some of these there's other breaks. I feel like there's other breaks. There's warm weather break. They go off to Dubai and do.
Right.
Over there.
I mean,
the only way it would work for me is first game of the season. Make a big event the first game of the season.
Now, okay. Well, now we got a comment here. Interesting. JJ says, "I'm more concerned with being able to watch every Newcastle game if you're not a season ticket holder, where the rest of the world can. It's crazy." Now, let me answer this in this manner. It does seem like a hater comment. If they can do it, why can't? I understand. A Newcastle fan, a lot of it feels like it's just our thing. Gonna have to get over that, because Manchester United would be right now in the 6th division if they didn't have a fan base like they do now. So you got to look at this from a balanced point of view. Try to, because if it's just me, then there's no way of moving forward as a Newcastle United supporter. Geordie supporter in Newcastle. So now, with that being said as well, I have no idea why. I understand the point, that why there are games that are not televised. I understand the point of why they do it. It still doesn't make sense to me. Show every game is the Premier League, but that decision in itself is a Premier League decision. Not they decided that. Now
I think it's FA, correct? Not Premier League. It's an FA rule.
Right.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. English football is what I meant. So, I don't understand it. I don't agree with it, to be honest. I think it should just be, I think anybody should be able to watch whatever the hell they want, especially their team. So
I'll leave you with one more thing, and I'll let you guys get on with it.
Yeah, go on.
I personally never heard about this until I think yesterday on your show, and I actually couldn't care less. I'll watch every game regardless.
You're right.
But I do think that it could bring in some money for every club coming over here and putting on a game. And I'll leave it at that. But otherwise, I'm going to watch every game. I love you guys. I love everybody in the chat, despite, I was getting a little.
Oh, yeah.
But
I hate it.
And my man's got one thing to say, and then we'll let you guys go.
Go on, Levi.
What?
Hoof the top. I love
What's the score tomorrow, Levi?
What's your prediction,
Levi? What's the score going to be tomorrow, Levi?
What?
What's the score going to be?
What's going to be the score tomorrow?
3-1.
3-1 to tune, right?
Yeah.
Well, 3-1 to tune, because imagine 3-1 Burnley. That ain't gonna be good. But thank you so much, man. Benji, appreciate your support.
I'll have a book on it.
See you tomorrow
Thank you so
morning.
much. Thank you. See you, Levi, man. We were gonna have to watch along tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see you,
He's
brother.
on the better side of the state.
Yeah, he's on the good side. But no, listen, we will. By the way, we'll have the watch along tomorrow. So join us. Our coverage.
Chris, I'm going to have to get out of this, because what I'm picking up is everybody's monitor, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing 4 different conversations going on at once.
Yeah.
So I'm going to step out, mate. And,
okay, well, listen. Try to wear maybe like a
again. Come on another show, Gary.
try to
I
pay.
will.
Try,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Gary,
The only
go.
I
Gary,
will
go
do, yeah,
go
for sure.
go to our website nufctalk.tv and let me get to you get your contact so we can chat it up and we can remain in contact. You know what I mean? So nufctalk.tv. You know,
See, I'm
we'll
struggling now to hear you, Chris, because I can hear you. I can hear you through
come.
everybody's.
Yeah, come back in the chat and I'll shoot you a message.
You might need headphones, Gary,
Yeah,
as well,
might-
mate.
Okay, mate. Well,
Catch you later.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a good one. Have a good one. Appreciate Gary. Appreciate Benjamin coming on. Listen, it's definitely been one hell of a debate. It can be tough. I will say this, in my personal opinion, this shouldn't. I don't really care for it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I told Derek Wedding this on the chat. Give me the preseason. I would actually feel some kind of way if they don't come for the preseason, which they won't anymore. But and that might be like Gr was saying, maybe like a self-centered way of looking at it. But I want him here in the preseason. I want him here. That's all I care about, to be honest. But Premier League, I think is opening a can of worms, and it could be what Gary was talking about, and also Derek and everybody else agreeing with him in the chat that it's just you're just essentially putting your foot on the door, and then it opens up something, a box, a Pandora box.
And I can understand that fear, if you like. I can understand that. Yeah, that would have to be something that was very, very, very closely monitored.
Sure.
I've just tried putting the website in the chat for Gary, Chris, but it won't let the comment field to post. Must be because it's got the link in.
Well, hold on. Derek says, "I hope you get the preseason." I don't mind that at all. Well, we won't. We won't. I can tell you this: a little birdie told me that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that knew a guy before he knew another guy that they're going to Japan, I believe. So the Tunis might be going to Japan. But
yeah, I've heard that through some pretty reliable.
And that's the other thing too. We're trying to build a world base, so they can't be coming here every year. I know we'd like them to, so they're going to play a couple out in the Far East. They'll play some in the Middle East. They're playing 2 games in Australia, at the end of the season. So if they come around every 2 or 3 years, play preseason here, I think that's gonna help and that's gonna build the thing. But because they really, like you said, PIF, when you're talking about earlier about sports washing, this is what they want to do. They want to make it so that that we look, that the Saudis are these good owners, and everything to do with sport is and it takes away.
Look at the sport. Don't look at the society.
Yeah. It was like you guys were saying earlier, and like I totally agree with you. People look at America, and American corporations, and when they say, America's doing this, they're not talking about the American people. They're talking, like I said, they're talking about corporate America. So when it comes to sports washing from the American, it's the American corporations, it's the big TV companies and everything that's doing that. It's not the American people. So that's where that sports washing thing's coming from.
And when it comes to sports washing, we might have something coming up pretty soon, and if not, we'll definitely explain what I'm saying. But
I don't want to touch the sports washing, because to me, I define sports washing much more differently. Because I think of it in the context of the accusations that people say it about the Saudi ownership, and that they're using it to cover up cultural, maybe questionable decision making.
Human rights. They want to divert all the attention from the human rights issues by deflecting it onto sport and saying, "Look,
and
people."
Listen, I'm not going to say that it's great and everything's hunky dory here, but I don't think you can say that we're doing it to hide our dirty laundry. I think our dirty laundry.
But again, it's the same sort of thing. It's the corporations and everybody
even the
being
corporations.
tied in with corporations.
I'm not taking it personal. I just mean I don't think American corporations or anybody's hiding anything. It's
We'll definitely leave it for another day. Gary, I see in the chat. Gary, Derek, all you guys that Kim Cam, Richard Cardwell as well. Join our website. The link is right there. Antagonizing Jordy just posted it, or if not, just type it on your phone or computer. NUFC talk.tv. Let's stay in touch. You know what I mean? Put your email on there. Let's stay in touch so we can, Gary, we can bring you back and we'll chat it up, my friend. And you might need just a pair of headphones or something. Anything cheap. That way your phone doesn't bring it back into into the audio that way, because we didn't hear no echo, but of course you did. So let's stay in touch. Join the website nufctalk.tv. And I see some comments that are making me laugh. Anyways, we had a great show, folks. Thank you so much. It was a nice debate, but that's what we're here for, to debate. So appreciate everybody's support. Remember, tomorrow live match coverage starts at 1:45 p.m. UK, 7:45 a.m. in the morning in Central Time USA. So stay tuned. 8:45 in the Eastern side.
Yep.
And then what is it? 5 in the morning, 5:45 in the West Coast. So, but 1:45 p.m. UK pre-match build-up. We're gonna have the live match commentary, and then we're gonna have the match reaction after the match, of course. So stay tuned. Tomorrow's a long day, but it's match day. The Magpies facing Burnley away. Surely, we all hope. One thing that we can agree on is that tomorrow we want the points. We want the points. So we'll see you tomorrow, folks. Thank you so much, Ian. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Josh. We will see each other tomorrow. Bye-bye, folks. Thank you.
Have a good one.